The sun dipped behind the skyline of Los Angeles, turning the sky gold and pink. Cars honked in the distance, people rushed along the sidewalks, and the city buzzed with its usual energy. Maya Lopez clutched the strap of her worn-out bag as she hurried down Sunset Boulevard. She had just finished her shift at a small coffee shop, tired but still carrying a quiet spark of hope inside her. Life hadn't been easy. Her father had passed away. Her mother worked double shifts, and Maya dreamed of something better. That night, rain started to fall. Maya ran toward the nearest bus stop, clutching a stack of resumes she planned to hand out the next morning. But the wind caught them. The papers flew everywhere across the wet street, and her parked cars into puddles. She gasped and started gathering them one by one. A black Mercedes stopped beside her. The tinted window rolled down, revealing a man in his early 30s sharp suit, calm eyes, the kind of presence that turned heads. "Need a hand?" he asked. His voice was deep but gentle. Maya blinked, soaked and embarrassed. "No, I'm okay. Thank you." He smiled faintly, got out of the car, and helped her pick up the wet papers anyway. When she looked up again, she noticed how his suit didn't seem to care about the rain. He was different, confident, grounded. As he handed her the last resume, he glanced at the name printed on top.
Maya Lopez, he said aloud. "Nice name. You looking for a job?" She nodded. "Yes, anything. Office work, assistant, whatever's available." He handed her a small, sleek business card. "Come to this address tomorrow at 10. Tell them I sent you." Before she could ask who he was already back in the car. The Mercedes glided away through the rain. Maya looked at the card. It read, "Ethan Knight, CEO, Knight Enterprises."
The next morning, Maya woke up before sunrise. She ironed her only clean white blouse and fixed her old black skirt, hoping it looked professional enough. Her mother wished her luck with a tired smile and a whispered prayer. By 9:30, Maya stood in front of a tall glass building that shimmered under the Los Angeles sun. Knight Enterprises. People in elegant seats rushed in and out, holding coffee cups and phones. Maya swallowed her nerves, held the business card tightly, and stepped inside. The lobby smelled of fresh flowers and polished marble. At the reception desk, a woman with a perfect bun looked up. "Good morning. How may I help you?" "I'm here to see Mr. Knight," Maya said softly. "He told me to come." The receptionist's eyes scanned her from head to toe, noticing her faded shoes. Her nervous smile, but she stayed polite. One moment. Minutes later, Maya was escorted to the top floor. Her heart pounded. The elevator opened to reveal a huge office with glass walls overlooking the city. Behind a dark wooden desk sat the man from last night, Ethan Knight, CEO, billionaire, and somehow, the man who had stopped his car for her. He looked up from his laptop and smiled faintly. "You made it." "Yes," she said, trying not to sound too nervous. "Thank you for giving me this chance." "Don't thank me yet," he said, standing. "Let's see what you can do." He handed her a short test, organizing a few files, writing a quick email, and checking some simple data. Her hands shook at first, but once she started, her natural focus kicked in. After 15 minutes, he checked her work. "Impressive," he said. "You're quick, organized, and polite. You're hired assistant to my marketing manager." Maya blinked, shocked. "I am hired." "Yes," he said, smiling. "Report tomorrow morning." "Welcome to Knight Enterprises." She left the office barely feeling her feet on the ground. For the first time in years, she felt like life was giving her a chance. As the door closed behind her, Ethan watched her go with a thoughtful look. Something about her honesty and simplicity had touched him, something real, something different from the people he usually met in his glittering, empty world.
The connection grows. Maya's first day at Knight Enterprises felt like stepping into another world. Everything gleamed, glass walls, polished floors, expensive perfumes in the air. The employees spoke quickly, dressed perfectly, and barely smiled. She sat at a small desk outside the marketing manager's office, typing data, making copies, and running errands. It wasn't glamorous, but she was grateful. Every morning, she reached early, brought her own lunch, and stayed late if needed. Her dedication didn't go unnoticed. Every now and then, she saw Ethan Knight walk by, calm, confident, yet strangely distant from the world around him. Most employees froze when he passed, but Maya always greeted him softly, "Good morning, Mr. Knight." And every time, he gave a small, genuine smile in return. Days turned into weeks. One afternoon, Maya stayed late finishing a report. The office was empty, lights dimmed, when she heard footsteps behind her. She turned. Ethan stood there, holding 2 cups of coffee. "You're still here?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "I wanted to finish this report before morning." He nodded, impressed. "You remind me of how I started. Long nights, small steps." He handed her a coffee. She hesitated but accepted it with a smile. "Thank you," she whispered. They sat by the window, looking at the glowing city below. Los Angeles shimmered like a sea of diamonds. "Do you ever stop working?" she asked softly. He chuckled. "Not really. Work became my life long ago." "Doesn't that get lonely?" she asked. Ethan looked out the window for a moment. "Sometimes," he admitted. "Success comes with silence." Their eyes met, a brief, wordless moment that said more than they intended. After that night, something subtle changed. Ethan found excuses to check on her department. He noticed when she smiled, when she looked tired, and even when she wore that one blue dress she seemed to love. Maya, too, began to see beyond his sharp suits and business voice. She saw a man who carried the weight of expectations, who rarely trusted anyone, and who longed for peace. But not everyone in the company liked what they saw. Whispers started. "The CEO has a soft spot for the new girl. She's playing smart to move up." Maya heard the gossip, but stayed quiet.
Real was growing between them. The rumors and the realization. The next few weeks at Knight Enterprises felt different. Whenever Maya entered the room, whispers seemed to follow. She caught glances from coworkers, curious, judgmental, even jealous. Some smiled too sweetly. Others avoided her entirely. At first, she ignored it. But one afternoon, while she was making copies, she overheard the senior assistants talking behind her. "She's just pretending to be humble. You think the CEO helps anyone like that for free? Please, he's clearly interested. Look at how often he visits her department." Their laughter stung. Maya's hands trembled as she gathered the papers. She wanted to cry but didn't. Instead, she walked back to her desk, lifted her chin, and focused on her work. That evening, Ethan called her to his office. He was standing by the window again, his jacket off, tie loosened. The first time she saw him look human, tired. "Maya," he said, turning toward her. "Are you okay?" She hesitated. "Yes, sir. I'm fine." He sighed, noticing the way she avoided his gaze. "I've heard the rumors too," he said quietly. "And I want you to know, I don't care what people say." She looked up, surprised. "But it affects me, sir. They think I'm using you." Ethan frowned. "You don't owe anyone an explanation. You've earned your place here, Maya." For a long moment, they stood in silence. Then, softly, he added, "I respect you more than anyone else in this building." Something in his tone, warm, sincere, made her heartbeat quicken. "Thank you, Mr. Knight," she said, her voice almost a whisper. The next day, the gossip grew worse. The marketing manager, feeling threatened, accused Maya of being distracted and unprofessional. Ethan stepped in before the situation exploded. At a board meeting, when a senior executive made a sly comment about office distractions, Ethan's tone turned cold. "If anyone here doubts a hardworking employee's integrity," he said sharply, "they can bring proof. Otherwise, this discussion is over." The room went silent. Maya wasn't there, but she heard about it later, how the CEO defended her publicly. That night, she couldn't sleep. She stood on her small apartment balcony, looking at the stars above Los Angeles. She whispered to herself, "Why is he doing this for me?" But deep down, she already knew the answer. And so did Ethan. Every time he saw her smile, every time she said good morning, something inside him softened, something he thought he'd lost long ago. He tried to ignore it. But love, real love, doesn't ask for permission.
A week later, the company hosted its annual charity gala, a glittering event filled with celebrities, investors, and business leaders. It was held at a luxurious hotel overlooking downtown Los
Angeles. Ethan usually treated such events like any other meeting, formal, predictable, and empty. But this time, as he stood near the entrance greeting guests, he found himself scanning the crowd for one face, Maya's. She wasn't supposed to attend. She was just an assistant. But a last-minute cancellation opened a spot for the marketing team, and Maya was asked to help with the event coordination. She didn't have a fancy dress, so she borrowed one from a friend, a simple navy blue gown that shimmered under the lights. When she walked in, Ethan froze mid-conversation. For a moment, the entire noise of the room faded. Maya looked elegant but still herself. No heavy jewelry, no loud makeup. Just grace, honesty, and a calm smile that outshone everyone else. He excused himself from a group of investors and walked toward her. "You clean up well," he said softly, eyes warm with admiration. Maya laughed nervously. "I'm just here to help with the event, sir." "Then let me thank you properly," he replied. "Have dinner with me after this." She blinked in surprise. "Dinner?" He smiled. "Just dinner. No business talk, I promise." Later that night, after the gala ended, they drove to a quiet rooftop restaurant overlooking the city. The air was cool, the lights below twinkled like stars, and soft jazz played in the background. "I didn't know CEOs went out for midnight dinners," Maya teased. He chuckled. "CEOs don't, but Ethan Knight does, when he's with someone worth breaking the rules for." Maya's breath caught for a moment. She didn't know what to say. They talked for hours about life, dreams, childhood, and pain. She told him about her father's accident, her mother's struggles, and how she still sent part of her salary home. He listened quietly, genuinely, his usual business mask gone. When she asked him about his past, he hesitated before saying, "My parents built this empire, but they were never home. I grew up around success, but not love. Maybe that's why I don't know what peace feels like anymore." Their eyes met, full of unspoken emotions. Ethan reached across the table and said softly, "Maya, you make me forget the noise. You make me remember what real feels like." She looked down, her heart racing. "Mr. Knight, I don't know what to say." "Say Ethan," he whispered. "Just Ethan." For a long moment, they sat in silence, the city lights reflecting in their eyes. That night, something shifted. Between them,
The following weeks were the happiest Maya could remember. Ethan became more than her boss. He became her confidant, her friend, and a quiet presence she looked forward to every morning. They kept things professional in public, but their eyes often said what their lips could not. Sometimes, when the office emptied late at night, they shared coffee by the window, talking about small things, movies, memories, or dreams they'd never confessed to anyone else. Maya didn't know what to call what they had, but it felt real. Until the world noticed. One morning, Maya arrived at work and froze. Her face was on a gossip website, a photo from the gala. Standing beside Ethan, the headline read : Ethan Knight's secret love interest? The mystery girl behind the CEO? The article twisted everything, calling her a gold digger, claiming she was using him for fame. By noon, it had spread everywhere. People whispered louder now. Some smirked. Some pitied her. When she entered Ethan's office, his expression was hard, not angry, but worried. "I just saw it," he said. "I'm so sorry." "It's okay," she said softly, trying to stay calm. "I knew this could happen." He stepped closer. "No, it's not okay. You don't deserve this. For a second, she wanted to believe that his words could fix everything. But reality hit harder when HR called her later that day, saying that, due to the situation, her role was being temporarily reviewed. Her heart sank. So, I'm suspended. I'm afraid so, her manager said quietly. That evening, she stood outside the office with tears in her eyes. The city around her buzzed, but she felt small and forgotten. Ethan called her phone several times, but she couldn't answer. She didn't want pity, not from him, not from anyone. A few hours later, Ethan showed up at her apartment, still in his office clothes. Maya, please, he said, out of breath. Let me explain. There's nothing to explain, she said, her voice trembling. People were right. I shouldn't have let this happen. You're a CEO, and I'm just... Don't, he interrupted, his voice firm but gentle. Don't say that. You're not just anyone. You're the only person who's ever seen me for who I am. She looked at him, eyes full of tears. And what if I lose everything because of this? He took a step closer. Then I'll stand beside you, every step of the way. But Maya shook her head. You can't fix this, Ethan. You have an image, a company. I won't be the reason you lose it. She turned away before he could answer. When the door closed, Ethan stood there, silent, the city lights reflecting in his eyes. That night, both of them couldn't sleep. For the first time, the city that once felt magical now seemed cold and cruel. Love had found them, but the world was trying to tear them.
Maya stayed home, avoiding calls, messages, and the internet. The gossip had spread too far, and the comments were cruel. People called her names, mocked her background, questioned her worth. She felt like her dreams had shattered overnight. The job she worked so hard for, the small confidence she had built, gone. Her mother tried to console her. People forget, sweetheart, but the ones who care never leave. Maya smiled weakly. I don't want him to get in trouble because of me. Meanwhile, at Knight Enterprises, Ethan's world was on fire. Investors were nervous. The board questioned his judgment, and the media painted him as a man distracted by personal entanglements. At a heated meeting, one board member said sharply, "You're risking the company's image over a girl who doesn't even belong in this world." Ethan stood up, eyes calm but burning with emotion. "You're wrong," he said quietly. "She belongs here more than anyone. She's honest, loyal, and brave, qualities that built this company long before money did." The room fell silent. Ethan continued, "If defending someone good makes me unfit to lead, then maybe you need a new CEO." He walked out before anyone could respond. That evening, he went to see Maya again. She opened the door hesitantly, surprised to see him. "Ethan." "Maya, listen to me," he said, his voice steady but full of emotion. "I told the board everything, that I care about you, that I won't hide it anymore. If they want to fire me, so be it. I won't lose you because of fear." Tears welled up in her eyes. "Why would you do that?" "Because somewhere along the way, you became the only thing real in my life." Maya looked down, her voice shaking. "I'm scared." "So am I," he admitted. "But I'd rather face the world with you than live without you." He reached out, gently taking her hand. "You once told me I needed to find peace. I found it in you." Her tears fell freely now, but this time they weren't a pain. "I love you, Ethan," she whispered. He smiled, his voice breaking slightly. "And I've loved you since the night it rained." They stood there in the doorway, holding onto each other as the city lights blinked around them. Two hearts finally finding home. In the following weeks, Ethan publicly cleared Maya's name. He held a press conference not as a CEO defending a scandal, but as a man defending truth. "Maya Lopez is not a rumor," he said to the cameras. "She's the best decision I've ever made." The media slowly turned the story around, painting it as a rare love story in a ruthless world. Investors calmed, employees respected him more, and Maya was offered her position back not as an assistant, but as an event coordinator. Ethan made sure of that.
6 months later, Maya stood in front of the mirror in her new office. Yes, her office. She was now the event director at Knight Enterprises, managing a small team, organizing charity projects, and mentoring new employees who reminded her of who she once was, a shy, uncertain, but full of hope. A framed photo sat on her desk, the company gala, her and Ethan standing together. Smiling genuinely, the door opened and Ethan stepped in. He looked less like the untouchable CEO now, sleeves rolled up, tie loose, a softness in his eyes that only Maya had ever brought out. Still working this early, he teased. Maya laughed. Says the man who built an empire on no sleep. He walked closer, leaning against her desk. The board finally approved the new charity program. Your idea. You did it, Maya. She smiled proudly. We did it. He took her hand gently. Do you remember the night we met? You were standing in the rain, chasing your papers. I remember, she said softly. You stopped your car for me. I thought I'd never see you again. Ethan chuckled. And I thought you'd never forgive me for getting your resume wet. They both laughed, the sound warm and easy, filled with love that had weathered storms and whispers. Then Ethan reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Maya froze. Ethan. He opened it, revealing a delicate silver ring, simple, elegant, just like her. He looked into her eyes and said, You taught me that love isn't about wealth, or status, or power. It's about finding peace in someone's heart. I don't want another day without that peace.
Maya Lopez, will you marry me? Tears filled her eyes. Are you sure you want to marry your former assistant? He smiled. I'm sure I want to marry the woman who made me human again. Her voice trembled. Then yes, I will. The wedding took place a few months later, at a quiet garden overlooking the city. It wasn't extravagant, just close friends, family, and laughter under string lights. Maya's mother cried happy tears. The employees cheered. Ethan looked at Maya like she was the only person in the world. When they said their vows, Ethan whispered, I once thought love was a distraction. You showed me it's my greatest strength. Maya smiled through her tears. And I once thought dreams were for people with money. You showed me love makes anything possible. They sealed their promises with a kiss as the crowd applauded, and the city lights below seemed to glow a little brighter, as if Los Angeles itself was blessing their love. Years later, their story became more than a headline. Maya ran her own foundation for underprivileged students. Ethan continued to lead Knight Enterprises, but he was no longer just a businessman. He was a husband, a partner, a man finally at peace. Sometimes, when they walked together along the beach at sunset, Maya would smile and say, Funny how everything started with a few flying papers in the rain. And Ethan would reply, Best storm of my life.